Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the October Finance and Shared Services Committee meeting. With me tonight are Dr. Lehman, Ms. Laura Allen, and from the board, I have Ms. T. Payne, Mrs. Sharma, Dr. Peck, and Mr. Pira. We have 3 items on the agenda, short meeting as usual. I'm going to start with the first item, which is the bill list. I want to tackle the bill list first. Did anybody have any concerns on the bill list? We are at, I believe we are at 5 million. Is that the number? Sorry, I do have it in my notes somewhere.
5,024,000.
Right, and we are expecting an addendum soon. So for now, the bill list is 5 million, a lot of school supplies in the bill list, which was as expected. The only question that stood out to me was a transportation bill from ESCNJ, which was explained by Ms. Allen in my pre-finance meeting as a transportation charge for our ESY special ed students. We have moved to a new vendor for our busing, so we wouldn't be seeing as many of those ESCNJ, but our special ed kids still use the ESCNJ busing. So those bills will be smaller, but will continue to come in. That was the bill list.
And wasn't that from July?
That was from the
July.
July.
Yes, true, yes.
Yes. Nobody has any questions? We can move on to the next item on the agenda. We have the attorney fees as a second item on the agenda. About $11,000 in attorney fees this month. Any questions? This attorney fees is a good segue to the next item on the agenda. The portion of the attorney fees attributed to Oprah services this month was $4,900. So as you can see, it was almost 40+% of our legal fees for the month was Oprah services. And as you may all recollect, in the last month's finance meeting, we raised a concern on the cost of attorney fees and the way we were handling Oprahs and the cost that we were incurring on them. If it made sense to look at a tool that would help us become more efficient and that would help us save money. We had requested that the business office ask a few providers for RFP. Ms. Allen had reached out the next day, taken a few names from me. I'm really grateful for turning it around within the month. Ms. Allen, I'm going to turn it over to you to share with everybody what your findings were, and then we can discuss your findings and then probably make a recommendation.
Okay. So first, I just wanted to mention what the current process is. I think that helps us understand like what's going on now and what we're hoping to achieve. So right now, the Oprah secretary receives requests in her email. So they are mixed in with all her other emails. It's not like in one central location. She sends a receipt response to the requester. She determines what staff member can fulfill the request and, reaches out emails or calls the staff member to do so. She manually maintains a log of all the requests and the status. She may have to, and many times we'll have to follow up with staff with reminders of due dates and, to get the information that she needs. She receives information records in various formats, which then have to be converted. She compiles and organizes the information. She redacts sensitive information manually. She prepares the redaction log manually. She has to physically scan records. And there's often a size limitation on how many records can be emailed at one time. And then she prepares and sends out letters for extensions or final responses or et cetera. So there's a lot of time involved with manual processes. Everything's kind of all over the place. It's not in one central location. So that being said, so we reached out to 3 vendors as requested for the Oprah software. And we received proposals from 2 of those who provided us with presentations, and they actually led us to a demonstration of their product. their software. So, although the two software systems that we saw are very much alike, the one company, Just FOIA, offers a feature that the other does not. And it has a few things that we kind of liked better than the other, and it was less expensive. So I'm really going to speak about that. So Just FOIA, it offers a record request tracking system using a software that manages every step of the process from intake to delivery. It streamlines the process by automating repetitive tasks such as the redactions, assignments, reminders, communications with requesters and responders, and it uploads documents without scanning. It provides a personalized consultative approach to the implementation process, which is live. It will configure the system to our needs. We'll sit down with us and decide what we need. It provides technical support and a dedicated client specialist. So we will always have somebody you can reach out to with any questions or concerns. It offers live monthly learning sessions and on-demand learning and help videos. So there's always a learning process that you can use. It's cloud-based and it has, and you have unlimited users. So how does it work? So we will have one configurable public portal for the requesters to submit and track requests. And the open machine can be linked to this. So everything will come into one place. It won't just or email will be one place where everybody can see it. And we can provide a search archive within that system to allow requesters to search previous requests. And they may find that there's something in there that they were looking for, so they don't really need to submit a request. It's already there, so they can just pull that. Plus, the system can look at keywords in the request and direct them to another request that's already been fulfilled. So that can be a great time saver. The system, the requester is automatically notified of the receipt of a request. It also prompts the requester to provide more information about the request so that we can fill it. If they're missing information, like if we could have, like if there's email logs and they don't have the to and from or the dates or whatever it is, we can have that information built into there. So they have to put that in, and that will eliminate the back and forth and the denials and stuff. So that helps the process as well for everybody. It can build out workflows based on the type of the request. So if it's requesting an email log, we can have it directed to go straight to our tech department so they can start to fulfill it. Or, whatever, like maybe keywords that it can be directed to somebody to start to work on. We can add legal to the flow, if we need to, or if we at some point just want to add certain ones we want to go to legal, so they have everything right there. Because everything will be there, the documents, the letters, responses, everything will be right there. There are reminders that will go out to the staff, escalations, reassignments, approvals, everything can go out right from the system. It will create custom forms and letters. It centralizes all communications with the requester and internally. It will design and automate common communications with templated messages and workflows. And then the nice piece is the redaction of the sensitive information, which it can either do it by keyword or certain terms you can use. It can eliminate duplicate emails, which is often a problem with email logs. You might get 10 emails, the same thing. It will eliminate all that, so you're not redacting 10 different things. And it can do batch redactions, and it automatically will we can have an exemption log that will be created so that the requester can see why it was redacted and see the reason. So let's see, it can keep track of time and labor and materials. for billing purposes, which can be very helpful if, I believe that's more of people, whoever's working on it can submit their time, there'll be an hourly rate on it with the charge, so you can get, and if there's materials, you can put that in there, so we can see what we're paying, or what we're, charging, if we need to charge. It imports and organizes response documents, so they don't need to be manually scanned. There's unlimited file size. It provides a lot of reports. The log, which is, as I said, currently manually prepared, the process requests, the bottlenecks, user activity, et cetera. So you can have any kind of report that you feel you need to see. It will build in our school calendar and build in the deadlines according to that. You can set due dates for the staff, so you're not like chasing people down. Anyone can see the status and leave notes or instructions, or how you want to handle, how you want to fulfill the request with the staff, and that will be deleted before it goes out. But you can have communications among yourself. So it really, in summary, it does do a lot, and it's a lot of streamlining, efficiency, time-saving things, centralization of communication, automating the tracking of requests, and increased transparency and efficiency. And that being said, we still would need to use an attorney at times. There's always going to be times we will need the attorney. We can't get around that. But this definitely would be a time saver for the other folks.
Do we need a secretary?
Yes, there's still going to be.
Or we're going to do the same thing, just we're going to have to.
Yeah, so the expense,
$22,100.
the expense for this program is $8,252 a year. And they would, being that we could start, actually, if it's board approved, gets approved, the day after, actually, they would start the training. It's about a 4-week training process, and where they set up everything up. So that would be prorated, so it'd be about $5,800 for this year. Every year they raise it 5%. And to compare with the other system, Next Request, that was $9,498 a year plus a $2,000 implementation fee, which is one time. So that would be $11,498. They did come back with a 25% discount the first year if we did this before December 19th, but that would still bring us to $9,123, which is more than this other company would offer.
And there was one key difference between Next Request and just FOIA. They don't pull from.
Correct. They don't pull from open sheet. The other Next Request, you have to basically go in and look into this portal. Whereas just FOIA, it links it, so it automatically goes into that portal. And it's good because requesters can go in and see the status and see what's going on, and everybody can see what's going on at the same time. But that is what it can do.
I just have two quick questions for you. So when looking, of course, price-wise and looking at the fact that it integrates with Opera Machine, just FOIA seems to be the right choice. When you said there's a public portal, if we go with them, will people be just going on this portal to submit their request and not emailing it to anybody? They could still submit the request in Opera Machine directly. Is that the
They
process?
could, and that will come right
Come
to
into
us.
us.
Yes.
But if they wanted to check a status, Monroe has a dedicated portal page.
And that's with the other system too. They both have the same type of thing. It's one place you're going into, which is nice.
So they're not, currently our taxpayers that submit an Opera request follow through with our Opera secretary to find out what's going on.
Mhm.
Or look at Opera Machine to see if it's being fulfilled,
Yep.
right? Typically, if it's fulfilled, they'll hear back within the.
Right, and it's being, if they need more time and extension, they will get a letter from her, but that's again another manual.
All the manual process that's been done. When we fulfill a request through just FOIA, before the point that it all the work has been done by the system, say it was a very simple request, didn't need any attorney review, just simple redactions, few emails, it wouldn't automatically submit to the receiver. It goes through review.
Correct. In fact, they have a system, which I don't think we would use, but they have, both of them have, a feature where they could create a bill, have the, requester pay the bill, and then they'll get released upon the payment. But that, I don't think that would really work for us, but no, she would be the one to look at before it goes out in the end.
And she could mark the bill as paid, and that would bring the thing. Please go ahead.
Because I was on that pre-finance meeting. If they send them a bill and they don't want to pay it, that automatically is canceled.
It wouldn't be released if they.
Nothing would be released, so it's erased.
Isn't there certain things you can only charge for though?
Yeah, so basically it's, the materials, the copies, something like that, and that's in our policy,
Right.
and then
It's under
time,
review.
the time.
Per
at
time.
salary. Well, it depends, like if there's a big email log that has to be, that she's got to go through, and it takes, 5, 6, 7 hours or whatever, we can charge for that at her rate, hourly rate.
Do we
You know,
do that
it's-
now?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
We do, yeah, in fact,
We took a couple
Recently.
examples in the last meeting where so if there was an Oprah request for over 900 pages worth of it,
Yeah.
and one was over about 1,300
Okay,
pages,
so
we
that-
sent them a bill.
and they.
But it's being done, that's why it's gone to the policy committee, because I think we're doing it on a case-by-case basis.
Right.
We don't have defined thresholds. We need to probably fix that in policy, but having a tool like this, what it is doing, from what I understood with the way Ms. Allen explained it, is that it's running a log of the cost real time. We can set our thresholds that as long as an Oprah costs, say, $200, no bill will go to the requester. But the minute that log crosses 200 and goes to, say, $250, now we need to ask the requester, you will owe us $50 for this. We don't ask them for all the money, but we ask them for what's gone over the threshold. And that's fair, because some Oprahs could cost us thousands of dollars, and some Oprahs only cost us currently $150, $200. So we define the threshold, and that's what the training and setup and onboarding of the system would be, giving the system our custom information. And it's all gonna be set up based on that, giving how we're running the process currently, and you guys are gonna be working on the policy, tie the two things together, and the threshold gets defined and input into the system. Every time that gets beat, we then send a bill out. But then we do wanna maybe ask just FOIA that as soon as it crosses the threshold, we don't continue working on it. Like, we shouldn't end up in a situation where it's crossed the threshold and we've sent it for attorney review. We're getting billed for it, and the requester says, oh, no, I don't want to pay even a single dollar for it. We should pause the work at the point where the threshold
Find
is
that out.
crossed.
Right.
And then when we get,
Yeah.
when we get consent from the requester is when our attorney
Yes.
should continue to work on it. Internal also, in that, for that matter, our manpower internally is also.
I think maybe Weiss could advise us, because I know that there was a question when we first got on the board, there was an Oprah request, and if I recall it right, the district billed for the request, and then when Weiss saw it, he was like, this is something that was billable. I think it was like an email log or something, if I remember right. It wasn't the actual emails, it was just like a log. And it was,
When was this?
yeah, like, I would say in the beginning, like in the middle of 24. Like, I remember Weiss being in the meeting.
While you were
There
on
was
the
a
board?
question about Oprah,
Okay.
yes. And he had said, there was a question about, we were talking about the Oprahs. And somebody said like, I guess it was an example where we billed the person for this. Then when Weiss looked at it with us, he said, no, if the log, say, was 3,200 pages, but the log is really only 20 pages with 3,200 entries. Like, we couldn't bill for the log, but we could bill for the email.
That's right.
And that's what we did. He said that we had sent a bill. I don't know if somebody questioned an Oprah, but I mean, this is something that I think we would.
I
really
think
need to
the
look.
examples that you shared in the last meeting were ones that we've gone to the attorney to give us a way to calculate the cost.
Yeah.
And that's what we should always once our policy is set,
Right.
then we have a guideline on
Yeah.
how to be calculating.
Oh,
And then now the system would do it if we go with the system.
And I think it helps too, like, if we ask the attorney, if we're gonna use the attorney in advance, how long they think they're gonna take, because we don't often find out until it's so, until the end. So if we know in advance, if they can give us an estimate, and then we can reach out to the requester and say, hey, it's gonna be this much. Do you want to continue that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Were they able to share if they work with any other districts?
I know they do work with Cherry Hill School District. They just, I think started pretty recently.
That's how I got the recommendation, Laura, because Cherry Hill board president shared with me that they've been using it. She was very transparent in saying it's streamlined our processes, made us very efficient, but it does not eliminate the attorney, which is what Mr. Weiss said that night too, that you really cannot eliminate the attorney from this process, but, and I think you were just indicating
How
that.
do you know, like, what goes to the, like, this is my question, because if it is system, and it's a basic thing, that doesn't have to go to Weiss, right?
We don't.
It's only things where there's a question about it, but will this system say, all right, this person asked for this type of record, right now, to tell us, like, you need to send this to the attorney?
Well,
Or we still have to
we
make
would
that decision?
determine it really based on what kind of request. If it's something that involves like, student information, legal things that staff, things that are just sensitive that
Yeah.
that we
then
have
we'd
to
have
be
to
really careful with, and we would send it to the attorney. I think we would still continue to do that. We don't want to take a chance. But, no, it'd be up to us to determine whether it should go to the attorney or.
I mean, this may be something we could try for like a yearly basis, and if it
Oh, yeah,
works,
yeah.
and we're saving money for the district, absolutely, but if it.
No, just to put things in perspective, right? We have spent, and we're not talking about internal costs at all, but just in attorney fees, we have spent $16,000 in the last 2 months on Oprah. And this is gonna cost us $8,200. They're not taking an onboarding fees. We'll have a dedicated CSM, customer service manager. I think it's definitely worth trying for a
Trying
year
for a
to
year,
see,
give it
and
a
then we
shot.
compare a year later,
Yeah.
what were our savings?
Mhm.
What percentage of Oprah's needed to go to the attorney? And, I know we have an Oprah secretary, but, there can always be reassignments of tasks. There's going to be time saving. There's going to be less human mistakes. There's going to be proper record keeping. The whole fact that we will have data, a dashboard that is showing us the time taken for an average Oprah, it'll show us the ones that stand out. All in all, automation is the way to go
It
forward.
may be worth
There's
finding
too much manual work happening.
Just to see if it.
And I know Gail also agrees that
Oh, yeah.
we are, when we have Ms. Allen and Ms. Dr. Lehman to go to, so what do you guys think? Should we put this
I
forward to
think
the
it's worth, because they'll prorate us from December to.
yep.
So the question is, how do we get this? We have to bring to the full board.
Yeah, so we would recommend it, the committee recommended, Laura puts it on the agenda for next
Okay.
week.
Okay, and then we'll let the other board members,
We should.
you'll talk to the board members.
Of course, I would, hopefully they watch the meeting, but I will give them a summary.
I'm fine, yeah, we should.
Yeah, it was great. Laura had so much information the other day and it just,
Now, we're gonna use the
So
one that
efficient.
connects with the Oprah machine?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah, 100%, because this is gonna be the best part of it, where the intake and the submission is all gonna be automated through a
Okay.
system. We will have checkpoints, manual checkpoints internally, but our community will be dealing with a portal that is going to give them full visibility of the process. This is where my Oprah is sitting right now, or wait, it's going to take longer, cost more money, I have to make a decision. I feel like transparency also increases. Manual redundancies will get taken care of. All in all, this is a step forward.
Yeah.
And these tools are all AI-based, so there's a lot of learning happening, so, based on the requests that are coming, it literally would train itself over the next few months and it'll make the other requests faster, so I have hope that this is going to be
Yeah, I
a
think
game changer.
this is something maybe we should try absolutely for run it through and see what happens.
Yes.
Actually, we have a unanimous
Yes.
Perfect, so we'll put this recommendation for the agenda, and I'll make sure I put it in my committee meeting minutes, and we can have a discussion if the board needs to before this goes to work.
Perfect.
Okay. And that was the last item on our agenda for tonight. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. We'll be moving, sorry.
Were you gonna pick a board goal from this committee?
Oh, thanks for the reminder. So we're,
No permission.
and that'll be tackled as soon as we set the goal. I am taking ideas.
Yeah, I need ideas, what this committee sees as a goal, because I'm gonna present them, getting one from each committee and present them at next week. I'll send it to you on Friday's, president's report, all the ones that I've gotten. And then we can discuss them next week in public and see which ones we wanna break down to, which are more important. We might wanna do them all.
Yeah.
There was one last night, we combined LACE and CAC for one, so, we can do that with the other ones too.
I am a little unprepared for the discussion, sorry, Gail, but I do remember last year, one of the goals was to tackle more and more capital projects through our ESIP umbrella. And I think we've been very successful.
Yes.
We've put a lot of, things into that ESIP pipeline and will get done and eventually not really cost us money with the great rates and everything that we got with the bond. So I can't remember what the other goal was. I know it was just about being fiscally responsible with our operating budget,
Which-
but
Yeah,
which continues to be the goal.
can you think of anything that would be appropriate for this committee or, present to the board?
Yeah, I mean, I think a goal specific to this committee may actually merge with whether it's a BG&T piece, because that's for the ESIP, right?
Okay.
ESIP, a capital
combined
project
thing.
piece, or, so I think, maybe when we get through BG&T, we'll see another connection, because the finance piece freestanding on its own, we could probably come up with something, but I think, like,
Between
the
the two.
success of the ESIP was prioritizing funding for these projects. The BG&T side of it is getting the projects done that are on our list of things to do. So,
True.
maybe this committee's goal will be
Mhm.
merged with.
Right, and I do see on the agenda tonight is the whole comprehensive plan, and maybe that could also
Mm-hmm.
add some depth into how we need to look at it from the financial perspective, the comprehensive.
Sounds
plan.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. That concludes the finance meeting.